Today on the Matt and Ann Show, we welcome Andre Lacroix. Thank you for joining the show today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We just want to start off with the Flyers fired their head coach this morning.
I saw that.
Thoughts on that?
Well, to be honest with you, from my experience, of playing hockey for so many years, I'm not surprised. I'm surprised it took so long.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons is that after a while, when you start losing, it's a lot easier to fire one coach than fire players, number one. Number two, if the players are not happy with the coach, which it didn't seem to me like they were happy the way they were playing, sometimes the players basically say, the heck with you. They might not like the way he talks to them. They might not like the way they practice. They might not like the lines that they put together. There's a lot of combination, to be honest with you. And one thing I could never understand in hockey, I could never understand that before they fire a coach, why doesn't the general manager tell the coach, the next game, I want you to come upstairs with me. We're going to watch a game together, and the assistant coaches will run the game. Then both of us can see what's going on, because it's a lot easier to see from upstairs than it is from behind the bench. And sometimes general manager, they feel the pressure, they have to do something, and the coach has to go. But then on the other side, there are not too many good coaches around that are available at this time of year. So if you hire somebody now, most coaches will say, well, I'm not going to come for a one-year deal, because they know the Flyers are stuck. They need somebody. So they're going to end up again signing somebody for maybe a long-term contract that the coach probably won't last that long.
Yeah.
Okay. Because they're talking about John Tortorella, for example. Okay. Yeah. He's had success, but he was never liked by his players. Okay. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. So, I know I'm prejudiced, but I think Kevin Dineen, which I played with, he lived with me when he came to Hartford, because when I played in Houston, he used to babysit my kids. And Kevin would be a great coach for the Flyers, because he's got the right attitude as far as coaching. He knows how to coach. He knows the players. But I don't think the New Jersey Devils will let him go.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. So right now they're stuck. They don't know. They don't score goals. Their goaltenders are average. They're not great. They're good, but not. I've never been a fan of Carter Hart. I always felt he was good, but not great. So I thought they improved on defense very well. I thought they were good on defense. But when you don't score goals, it's tough to win games 1-0 every night.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to make trades, or where they empty the whole roster and basically start from scratch? Or do you think they're going to try to bring in like a Tortorella, like you said, a Dineen? I know Vancouver just hired Bruce Boudreau.
I had high hopes. To be honest with you, I thought that they made some great trades for the defense, to be honest with you. I don't think their forwards are playing the way they should.
Yeah.
And the problem they have guys that have no trade contract.
Yeah. So
they can't trade them. So I don't think it's as much as the defense. The defense will make the goalie look good. Bernie was awesome. Bernie Perron was great, but Bernie Perron had great defenseman. Okay. Yeah. So they didn't need to score too many goals to win hockey games. This team, the Flyers, they need to score goals because their goalies are average. So they need to score goals, and the guys that are supposed to score goals are not. The Giroux of this world, and they're not scoring goals, and they have to. So they have a problem.
I just never understood, like, I'd say since maybe Leclerc, they haven't, or maybe Jeff Carter, they haven't had like a true scorer on the team.
You're right. Absolutely right. You know, they need somebody that, you know, they're going to guarantee you probably 30 goals a year.
Yeah.
And they don't have that.
Mhm.
But those are not easy to get either.
Nah.
You know, I mean, people don't want to trade for draft choices anymore
Yeah.
because teams want to win now. And that division is so strong, to be honest with you, that you could have a team that could be in 5th or 6th place, but probably could be in 1st place in another division.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're 100% right. They don't have a natural goal scorer. The only thing that's close, but he's not a 30 goal scorer, is Cam Atkinson.
Yeah.
But he's not close to a 30 goal scorer. He's like a 20
one
goal
year
scorer.
like that, but he's never going to give you every year 40 plus.
No, he's a 20 goal scorer.
Yeah.
I think, as far as I'm concerned. But he needs to play with the right guys as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so you see, that's one of the problem. You could have a lot of look. The reason Tampa Bay won the championship the last 2 years was not because of first or second line. It was because their third and fourth line.
Mhm.
They're the ones that produce in the playoff. When
Yeah.
you get in the playoff, the first line of the Flyers is as good as the first line of Tampa. So they're not going to be a factor because they're going to play against each other. The other lines that play against each other, what we call the average hockey players, it's who comes up big during that time that's going to make a difference. And I thought after the Flyers made the trade, the Flyers were going in the right direction, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because they needed help on defense badly. And I figured if you could get like maybe three guys or so that could score 15, 20 goals at least a season with the defense they had, they might be okay. But now you don't have guys that's going to score 15, 20 goals.
And that's a huge problem.
More about when you were on.
He wants to know about when you were on the Flyers expansion team in 1967.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
Well,
did you think the Flyers would last, or would it be like a couple years and then they would move somewhere else?
No, I thought, you know, when I first came up with the Flyers, the fans didn't know about hockey. We couldn't give tickets away to the fans to come to the game. And then what turned the Flyers around is when they start going to the physical part of the game. When the Flyers won the Stanley Cup, they were the best team in the league. They were the most physical team in the league. And at the time, that's what they needed to win.
Yeah.
And that's why they won the cup 2 years in a row. That doesn't work anymore because let's face it, when I was playing, if you had a guy on your team that was 6 foot tall, he was a big guy. Now you're lucky if they're going to look at you if you're 6 foot tall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you need guys that are bigger today, but faster, which they are. Okay. And everyone was afraid to come at the Spectrum at the time.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know if they were going to come out of there alive. Okay. So, but now they're all the same. They don't care where they play now. They play well anywhere because everybody's big, everybody's physical, and the game has changed completely. I don't watch much hockey, to be honest with you, anymore. And part of the reason is sometimes I feel they should put skirts on those guys. Okay. You watch them, there's no checking anymore. They go in the corner, they touch a guy because they say, oh, I don't want to hurt you. Yeah, I know you make a lot of money, you know, so let's play it clean, you know. So I wouldn't be surprised at some point if they eliminate checking completely, to be honest with you. That would be sad.
Connor McDavid's probably going to get suspended. I don't know if you saw that.
No.
He boarded someone last night.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, so they're making a big uphill about that. So he's probably going to get like 5 games for that.
I doubt they're not going to give McDavid 5 games. They can't afford to do that. they might give him. They might give him 1 or 2 games at most. I didn't see the hit, to be honest with you, but they take care of the superstar and they take care of everybody else.
Yeah, he's not a dirty player, so I don't think
not.
they get that. that type of suspension, but they might just be like, let's show this that we don't care who it is that does it. We're going to show you.
No, but I think they go by their past record as well.
Yeah. And
You know what
he's
I mean?
never done anything dirty.
He's never done anything like that anymore. That's why I don't think he's going to get more than 2 games. And I didn't see the hit.
You were in the WHA.
Yeah.
Could you explain to the people watching what the WHA was and basically how important it was? Because a lot of great players were in there. Mark Howe started there. Gordie Howe was there. Bobby Hall was there. So could you explain to everybody what it was and what your experience was like?
As much as the NHL hated, the WHA was the best thing that happened to the players in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, everybody's salary went up because of the World Hockey Association. The WHA opened the doors to players, coaches, trainers, managers that otherwise wouldn't be there. Let's face it, a lot of players that played on the Flyers would have been in the American Hockey League if it was not for the WHA.
Yeah.
Because everybody lost so many guys. Because I know for a fact, for example, the reason I jumped from the Blackhawks to the Blazers, I received a call from the owner of the Blazers. And he said to me, he said, Andre, I know you're on your last year of your contract in Chicago, and I just got a franchise in Philadelphia. He says, I have no idea what you're making. But he says, if you come to Philadelphia, I'll give you a 5-year contract and I'll double your salary. I said, I'm done. That's a no-brainer, And then by doing that, then the Flyers, the Blackhawks, everybody else had to pay their players more money because they would have moved to the WHA. Because, you see, in those days, when there were 6 teams, I think the Stanley Cup meant a lot more than it does today.
Yeah.
Okay. Today, I think the World Cup means as much than the Stanley Cup, if not more. Okay. So there's so many teams in the NHL. When I played for the Flyers, I was so proud of playing with the Flyers. I thought that would be the last team I would play for. Okay. Players don't care about that anymore. They don't care if they play for the Flyers. They don't care if they play for Nashville. They just want to make money. So the WHA basically opened the doors for these guys to make the money they're making today. They should say, thank you, WHA, for what you've done to us. I know a lot of people are bitter because of WHA, but they should be thrilled to death that WHA came along because we did so much for the National Hockey League didn't like it, but the players should like it.
Well, the WHA was probably the closest to be competition to NHL. Obviously, we got the AHL right now. The last league that was like, I would say it wasn't competition was the IHL, and that hasn't been around for over 20 years.
Right.
Do you think we'll have another one of those leagues that could steal away a Gordie Howe or a Bobby Hall and get like an upstart Wayne Gretzky?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so because, to be honest with you, Matt, I really don't think that the new league could compete money-wise with the NHL. Okay, the NHL now has a huge market. They have a lot of huge sponsors. Okay, and they didn't have that then. So when we jumped league, the NHL at the time couldn't afford to say to me, "Don't go. I'll double your salary if you stay here." They couldn't afford to do that. Now, there's no way. The average salary in the National Hockey League, the lowest salary is $750,000, lowest. So there's no way in the world a new league could start from scratch. First of all, they would have to find big cities to play in.
Yeah.
And they would have to compete with a team that's already there, just like we did in Philadelphia with the Blazers. That's why we could stay in Philadelphia, because we could compete with the Flyers playing at the Civic Center. So that's why there are not that many big cities anymore that could attract an NHL team, because it's hard enough to draw fans in the warm weather in Florida.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, that you would have to stay in the Midwest somewhere. I think what's going to happen, instead of that happening, the NHL is going to keep expanding. That's what's going to happen.
I think they're at 30 teams now.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a team in Quebec in the near future. You should.
They definitely have been discussed as a team to be the next expansion team. So
Right.
I
You see,
expect it. I just
biggest-
never understood why the Nordiques left.
well, I don't, it was about money. The
Yeah.
owner knew he could make a lot of money by selling the team, and that's what he did. Fans were not happy. See, the thing in Quebec is you're going to sell out every game, doesn't matter what.
Yeah.
The problem is you don't have the big companies like you have in Montreal or Toronto, because hockey today is not about sellout. It's about who's going to pay you the advertising money. And you need the big corporation to do that. And they're all in Montreal and Toronto. They're not in Quebec. And
Yeah.
that could be the biggest problem they might have to face.
Absolutely.
And
70 the Summit Series.
My experience,
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I wrote a book. I don't know if you know that, I wrote a book. It's called like After the Second Snowfall.
Okay.
Okay. And in it, I talk about the reason I wrote the book is because I have a unique situation. See, I'm the youngest of 14 kids.
Wow.
Seven boys, 7 girls. I'm the only one that played hockey. I negotiate my own contracts. I talk about the money that I made when I played junior, and I talk about all the contracts I signed and how much money I made. Okay. And so I wanted people to know that. I didn't want to write a book about hockey. I want to write a book about things that people have never heard before. That's a very good question, by the way, that people have never heard before. I've never seen in the newspaper before.
Yeah.
Okay. And I talk about my first, I played junior hockey in the best junior league in the world, the OHL. I won the MVP 2 years in a row over Bobby Orr. Okay. So after my years in junior, my first year pro in Quebec City, I made $3,500 a year. And I had a good year. The owner, after the season, came to me and said, "You had such a good year, I'll give you a raise." He gave me a $500 raise. Okay. Then, you say to yourself, you played hockey because you love the game, not you didn't play hockey because of the money.
Right.
That's the difference when we played and when they play now. When we played because we love the game. Today they play for the money and let the game is second. Okay. My best experience in hockey, I tell people all the time, is when I came up with the Flyers in '67. I was playing with the Quebec Aces. I was leading the league by about 30 points in Quebec. I had 6 hat tricks. I tied the record. I was going for 7 to beat the record. And then the Flyers called me up because there were guys injured for a game in Pittsburgh. So I fly to Pittsburgh to play for the Flyers, my first game in the NHL, and I score on a breakaway, and we tied the game 1-1, final score 1-1. The next game we played in Philadelphia against Minnesota, Sunday night. We win 7-4. I get 1 goal, 3 assists. The next morning, I go see Bud Poy with my bag, getting ready to go to Quebec. And he says to me, he said, "You make the decision if you want to stay here or go back to Quebec." And at the time, I had mixed emotions because I was going for all kinds of records. And there was a booster club in Quebec that had donated, gave me a car. And I said, but as a kid, you always want to play in the NHL. You don't want to play in the minor league. And I figured there were 17 games left in the season. That could be the greatest experience for me for the future years. So I decided to stay with the Flyers, which to this day, it was a tough decision, but I still think it was the right decision to make. Okay. So there were a lot of decisions like this, like when I jumped league from the Blackhawks to the Blazers, we all took a chance because we knew that if the league didn't work, we were blackballed in the NHL. We knew that.
Yeah.
So that was a tough decision for us to make. Even if you make a lot of money the first year you jump league, you didn't know if it was going to last 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, who knew? So we were lucky we kept the league as long as we did. And at the end, when they merged, the reason they merged was because both leagues were suing each other. And I really believe that if for any reason they didn't merge, the WHA would have survived. Because at the time, there were only 6 teams or 8 teams in the WHA, just enough, great ownership, and great players. Look, the stars that went to the NHL from the WHA, Gretzky, Messier, Coffey, all these guys, they all played in the WHA before they went to the NHL.
Yeah. Absolutely. Do you think certain players like yourselves, WHA careers should be considered for the Hockey Hall of Fame? I know you're in the
Absolutely.
WHA Hall of Fame, but they put
Abs-
players that played in Russia, never had any experience in NHL, just Olympic play, international play in the Hall of Fame. But they haven't put people that most of their career that was in the WHA in the Hall of Fame yet.
That's my biggest argument. You're 100% right, Matt. Because you take a player like Mark Tardif, played for the Nordiques, played for the Canadians, one of the best left winger that ever played the game. He's not in the Hall of Fame. He should be, but he's not. Okay. They got guys that never played a game in the NHL, but they played in Russia. Okay.
Yeah.
I said, when you talk about Hall of Fame, you should talk about your whole career. You should look at what you did as a youth player, what you did as a junior player, and what you did as a pro player. Then evaluate everything.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's all political.
Because it's not called the NHL Hall of Fame. It's called the
No, it's not. They changed that. Right. Now they name just, to be honest with everything that's going on in this world now, they name who they think is going to be popular at the time. That's what's happening now in the as far as the Hall of Fame. They'll name women, they'll name, that never played in the NHL, which is okay. I have no problem with that, to be honest with you. But you need to be fair to the WHA. And I think everybody's so mad that the WHA was formed, to be honest with you. They never forgave the players that jumped league. That's why in Team Canada 72, they never invited Bobby Hall to play for them.
Yeah.
Okay, they never invited anybody that jumped league to play in the 72 series.
Yeah.
And they should have.
Because there was a lot of great players that were in the WHA, but
absolutely.
And they took half the teams, like the Nordiques, Whalers, Oilers, all came over.
Yeah.
Gretzky came over with them, but it's like they kind of act like it never existed when they.
That's what Matt. That's my argument. Has been all the time, because I remember players were bad mouthing the WHA, and I used to tell them, I said, "You should say thank you. You're in the NHL because of the WHA. You make the money you're making because of the WHA. Why'd you badmouth the league?
Yeah,
you shouldn't do that. That's why it's the same thing when Ted Lindsay was playing with Detroit. At one point, he was blackballed because he started the union. But by starting the union, the players end up making more money and more security. You should say thank you, Ted Lindsay, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So every player in the NHL should be thankful for what we did by jumping league, to be honest with you.
Absolutely.
And they don't.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite moment in your career?
I'm sorry?
Do you have a favorite moment in your career?
Yes. Very good question. My favorite moment is there's one thing in hockey. I played center. And I always said, wouldn't that be great if I could get like 100 assists in one season?
Yeah.
Because to me, getting 100 assists is like someone batting 400 in baseball.
Yeah.
Okay. There's only 4 players in the history of hockey that have had at least 100 assists in one season. Okay. Bobby Orr, Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, and me were the only 4 that ever had at least 100 assists in one season.
Yeah.
In 1974, I scored 41 goals and I had 106 assists. And to me, that was the greatest thing, because as a center, I'd rather have an assist than a goal, but you won the first assist. And I said to myself, I never thought it would happen, but I did. I accomplished it. And the fact there's only 4 of us that have done that, it's great.
Wayne Gretzky was considered a prodigy since he was a young kid. You got to play against him in the WHA.
Yeah.
Did you see it right away, or was it something that developed?
No, it's something, that's a good question to develop, because see, I played against Bobby Orr Jr.
Yeah.
You could see Bobby was going to be great, but I didn't see that in Wayne right away. I think Wayne, he just graduated, got better and better and better, but obviously had great success in junior. you know. And I think part of the reason because Wayne was kind of a skinny player, you know, he was not like 195 pounds or whatever it is, you know, because in those days, if you were like 5'11" or so, but 190, that was awesome as a player. Okay, now the average is probably 215 today and 6'3", you know. So no, I didn't see it in Wayne, but I saw it in Bobby Orr.
This is my last question. I'll let you ask after
Sure.
me. Who's your favorite current player to watch when you do watch hockey? Who do you
If I
like
do
to
watch-
watch for?
Is what's his name in with the Islanders? Matt
Barzal.
Barzal.
Barzal. Yeah.
Because he's so good with the puck. See, he plays the way I did. I like to handle the puck. Okay, I was like a finesse player, and to me, he's a finesse player, and I think that I love to watch him play. You know, but let's face it, McDavid's the best hockey player in the National Hockey League. I mean, he does it. He does everything. I mean, it's a shame that he's in Canada, in Edmonton, because people don't have a chance to see him.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
It's 9,
I mean,
10 o'clock
he-
games.
he would be great on any team. Any team, he would be great. You know, so I think he's a special player, very special.
Okay.
Go ahead, Ann.
I have 2 more questions.
Sure.
You know, who was your favorite player to play with and again?
What's the question?
Who was your favorite players to play with and against?
Okay, that's a good question. That's a great question. See, my favorite player was Danny Lawson when I played for the Blazers. Okay, and the reason I say that is because he knew what I was going to do. He was a great, fast skater, really good skater. Okay, and I used to tell him, I said, "Don't handle the puck. That's my job. Give it to me, and I'll feed you." Okay,
Yeah.
and I think he scored like 70 goals playing with me.
Yeah.
And yeah, and he was just the no name, but great skater, a great goal scorer. Okay, and to play against, to be honest with you, was a goaltender. You know, Jerry Cheevers was the toughest goaltender I ever played against. You know, there was not like a individual forward that I played against that I felt that you know, that I had problem with or whatever it is. I always look at who gave me the most trouble in my career. It was always a goalie for some reason. And Jerry Cheevers was the one that gave me the hardest time, you know, playing against him when he was with the Bruins in Boston.
You got any more?
I get.
We want to thank you, Andre, so much for joining the show
My
today.
pleasure. And my pleasure. Great question.
Do you
Thank
have
you.
anything you want to promote today?
Just a book, if you
All
could.
right. Tell
It's
everybody
on
about the
Amazon.
Can
Pardon
you
It's on
hold it up?
Amazon.
on
You can
Amazon.
buy the book on Amazon, you know, or you could contact me through Facebook. And then because on Amazon, it's not signed. If you contact me on Facebook through Messenger, I'll ship it to you and sign it.
All right, we'll put that in the bio when we post the video so everyone knows where to get it and to get it signed.
That'd be awesome.
And can you hold the book up so everyone can see what it looks like?
A
A little higher.
A little bit
Every-
more. A little bit more.
Just
You
a
see
little
it, Matt?
higher.
A
You see
little
it,
bit
Matt?
more.
Just a little higher. All right, that's good right there. Everyone go look for that on Amazon. Go find Andre on Facebook and he'll sign it for you if you do it through Facebook. Amazon, it's not signed, but you can also, that's probably the easiest way to find it. So
Yes.
everyone, thank you, Andre, so much for joining today.
Matt, and let's do that again.
Definitely will. We'll definitely will in
Okay.
a couple months.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one.